I'm Dina Temple-Roast, and this is Click Here's Mic Drop. When Nina Jankowicz agreed to head up a new government division aimed at combating disinformation in the U.S., she had no idea what she was in for. Because almost as soon as her appointment was announced in 2022, she and the new Disinformation Governance Board she was supposed to lead found themselves at the center of a storm.
So today, to herald the coming of the new Soviet America, the administration announced its own Ministry of Truth.
And the person they've appointed is a Democrat propagandist.
Nina Jankowicz, who's about 8.5 months pregnant, so I'm not
sure. The credibility of this board is shot already by the fact they appointed this woman, and they knew it.
The attacks were unrelenting, and a lot of them could be tracked back to a single source, Fox News. And Nina says,
it was over 400 times that they had mentioned me and usually lied about me in some way, shape, or form.
And Nina decided to do this unusual thing. She fought back and took Fox News to court, and a judge has just made a preliminary ruling. I'm Dina Temple-Roast, and this is Click Here's Mic Drop, an extended cut of an interview we think you'd like to hear more of. And today, we're talking to Nina Jankowicz about the latest in her defamation lawsuit against Fox News and how it fits into the broader campaign against a wave of disinformation in America.
It is not good for our democracy if a powerful media organization can lie about someone day in and day out, ruin their life in the process, and get away with it and do it for profit.
We'll be right back.
I'm sorry if I sound tired and bedraggled. It's been an interesting couple of weeks. It's been a lot, but we're keep on keeping on. That's our motto.
When Nina Jankowicz first decided to sue Fox News for defamation, it was May 2022. And she had just resigned from her position at the short-lived Disinformation Governance Board.
I had a couple of conversations with lawyers right after I resigned from DHS, but the advice pretty unanimously from them was just to let it go, that it would make it worse by suing.
She thought maybe Fox News would lose interest or move on to something else, but they didn't. The comments just escalated. Was there sort of a moment where you said, okay, enough is enough, like something that appeared on television, you said, okay, I'm done, I'm suing?
There had been a couple of instances where they had run stories about me or mentioned me on TV that incited more waves of harassment toward the end of 22. They were mentioning me so much and lying about me for so much that I believed they were doing it for profit. It was profitable for them to do that. It drove engagement with their viewers. And that's when we started looking for legal representation. And luckily I found lawyers who are not only, in agreement with me that this is wrong, but are taking this case on in a way that's not bankrupting me, for the time being anyway.
Nina filed her case against Fox News in Delaware, alleging that the network's anchors and contributors knowingly broadcast false claims about her, like telling their viewers that she and the board were out to censor them. Or, in the words of Tucker Carlson, who's no longer at Fox, viewers needed to worry that the Disinformation Board might go one step further.
Get men with guns to tell you to shut up.
Nina maintains that her case isn't just about her. It's about something bigger that impacts all of us.
That's another reason that I pursued the case, because I am not the only person that this has happened to. And I felt that there was a moral responsibility to at least try. Our information environment is polluted. It's polluted in some ways that are inadvertent and polluted in some ways that are intentional. There are people who are making money off of this stuff. There are people who are doing it because they want to stay in power. And there are folks who are studying it because it interests them and they believe other people in our country and the world deserve to know how information is traveling online, who is amplifying it, to make guesses about why they're amplifying it, and to show its effects on society. And ultimately, disinformation is not a political or a partisan issue. It is a small d democratic issue that affects not only our choices at the ballot box, but in our daily lives.
And yet, disinformation has been politicized. In the lead up to the election, right-wing advocates have launched a lawfare campaign, bringing a bevy of lawsuits aimed at silencing researchers who study misinformation. And it's been working. The legal system has been used as a brickbat against researchers who research disinformation. Do you feel like you've picked up your own bat when it comes to this particular case?
No, especially considering the judge's ruling.
Last month, Nina had a bit of a setback. A judge granted a motion to dismiss her case. He ruled that 36 of the 37 alleged lies cited in the case referred not to her specifically, but to the board she was going to be leading. And as for the one last remaining statement, the judge argued that wasn't defamatory because it wasn't false.
He claims that the Disinformation Governance Board, which I was appointed to lead, was engaged in censorship. And this is something that I know to be untrue because it was my job and my life and something that I was set to lead.
In a written statement after the ruling, Fox News Media said Nina's suit was politically motivated and was pleased that the court had decided to protect the First Amendment. Were you surprised by the ruling?
I was surprised at the extent to which the ruling took on this idea of any counter-disinformation work or content moderation work being censorship. So we're going to be appealing the case.
The outcome might seem surprising, especially given the fact that just a year ago, the network settled a similar libel case with Dominion voting systems, after some Fox anchors said on the air that Dominion voting machines were changing votes cast for Trump and making them cast for Biden, something they knew wasn't true, the company said. Fox ended up agreeing to pay $787 million in damages. Nina and her lawyers cited the Dominion case in their lawsuit.
I like to think of it as a Dominion case for individuals. Unfortunately, what I've come to learn about defamation law in the United States is that the cost to an individual is viewed by a court as less than the cost to a business. Dominion can quantify in dollars and cents the effect that Fox's lies had on their business. And it's much harder to quantify in dollars and cents the effect that months of lies had on me and my family's lives and safety. Not to mention my career, right? Where would I be if Fox hadn't lied about me for so long? Would I still be in government? What else would I be doing? Do I have a shot at other political appointments in the future or civil service jobs? I don't know. Are there corporations that won't hire me now because I'm that censorship girl, quote unquote? That's all a lot harder to quantify.
It's not the only way Nina is fighting back. This past spring, she started a new NGO, the American Sunlight Project.
What we set ourselves up to do was really shed light on the deceptive information practices that are becoming so common in our political discourse these days.
The idea is to fight this coordinated campaign by conservatives to undermine researchers who study sources of disinformation.
I kind of came out of some of my legal issues over the past couple of years, and I put my head above the parapet and I said, hang on a second. I've dealt with the worst of what, these folks have to offer, and I can take on some of the risk for some of the rest of the people in the community so that they can keep doing their work.
So some people might ask, why is it so important to you to continue pushing forward on this? What do you think like a win would mean for this whole disinformation landscape?
It's hard to even imagine a win because it's been so bad for so long. I think getting some legislation passed that establishes basic transparency for social media platforms and oversight over them would be the first step toward that win. It would mean that researchers can investigate, that journalists can investigate, that Congress can investigate, and we can all be using that same data to make those conclusions and then figure out what's next. I also think we need a real moment of introspection from our elected officials who have trafficked in disinformation for so long. I think we need to really just take stock of the impact that it has had, not only on our broader democratic infrastructure, but on individual Americans' lives. And if that doesn't resonate with them, then I give up.
From Recorded Future News, this has been Click Here's Mic Drop. It was written and produced by Megan Dietrich, Jade Abdul-Malik, Sean Powers, Kat Shuknik, and me, Dina Temple-Raston. We'll be back on Tuesday with an all-new episode of Click Here. In the meantime, have a great weekend.